Have you ever judged someone just by the way they looked, only to be shocked when the truth was revealed? Stay with me till the end of this story, because what happened here will not only surprise you, it will also teach us a moral lesson that every heart needs to hear. And before we begin, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because your small support helps us bring you more inspiring Islamic stories that touch lives and soften hearts. The story begins in a large and beautiful mosque located in the center of a busy city. Every Friday, the mosque would be filled with worshippers, businessmen in their suits, shopkeepers in their simple clothes, and children running around with their innocent smiles. But one person was always overlooked. He was a middle-aged man, wearing old and faded clothes, his beard unkempt, and his hands always busy with a mop or broom. People assumed he was just the cleaner of the mosque, a poor man with no education, no influence, no wealth, and no status. His name was Bilal, though hardly anyone called him that. Most people simply referred to him as the sweeper or the janitor, and few even bothered to greet him with salam. Yet, despite the way people treated him, Bilal never complained. Every morning, long before the first adhan of Far echoed through the streets, he would arrive quietly, sweeping the floors, dusting the shelves, and polishing the wooden shoe racks. While others slept, he ensured the house of Allah remained pure and clean. For him, this was not a job, but a form of worship. He often whispered to himself, "Ya Allah, accept this small effort from me, for I do it only for your sake." One Friday, as the mosque filled up for Jumu'ah prayer, a wealthy businessman named Hamza walked in. He was wearing an expensive suit, holding a luxury watch on his wrist, and walking with pride. His perfume filled the air, and his shoes shone brightly under the sunlight. People greeted him warmly, for he was known in the community as a man of wealth and influence. As Hamza walked towards the prayer hall, he noticed Bilal on his knees, scrubbing a stain from the carpet. Annoyed, Hamza frowned and muttered loud enough for others to hear, "Look at this man. Even on Jumu'ah he stinks of sweat and dirt. Couldn't he at least dress properly in the house of Allah? Some people are born to remain low in life." Several worshippers laughed quietly at Hamza's remark, and Bilal simply lowered his head, not saying a word. His heart trembled at the insult, but he whispered, "Ya Allah, give me patience." After the khutbah and salah ended, the congregation began to disperse. Outside the mosque, Hamza gathered with a few of his friends and continued mocking Bilal. Imagine, spending your life as a cleaner in a mosque. No dreams, no education, no respect. What a waste of a human being. Bilal passed by them silently, holding a bucket of water, but once again their laughter pierced his ears. What nobody knew was that Bilal's story was far deeper than anyone could imagine. Years ago, Bilal had been a highly educated scholar, a man who studied in some of the most respected Islamic institutions abroad. He had memorized Quran, studied tafsir and hadith, and even authored research papers that were used by students of knowledge. He was once invited as a guest speaker to conferences and respected for his vast knowledge. But life had tested him severely. His wife had fallen gravely ill, and the cost of her treatment drained all his wealth. Then, in the midst of his struggles, he lost her to illness. Broken-hearted and left alone with no children, Bilal gave up his position and retreated into a life of service. He chose to spend the rest of his days quietly serving the house of Allah, cleaning it, maintaining it, and ensuring that every worshipper found it in the best condition. For him, this was not humiliation, but an honor that few understood. However, he never revealed this truth to anyone, for he believed true sincerity lies in doing deeds only for the sake of Allah, without seeking recognition from people. The following week, a special event was organized in the mosque. A famous scholar was invited from another city to deliver a lecture. The mosque committee prepared banners, decorated the hall, and spread invitations across the community. On the day of the event, hundreds of people gathered, eager to listen. Hamza sat in the front row, his chest puffed with pride, for he was one of the sponsors who donated money for the event. As the time came for the lecture, everyone turned to the stage. But just as the guest scholar entered, he paused at the sight of Bilal, who was arranging chairs at the back of the hall. The scholar's face lit up with joy, and he rushed past the crowd to embrace Bilal tightly. Subhanallah. Ustad Bilal. It has been years. I cannot believe I see you here. The entire hall fell silent. People looked around in shock, whispering, Ustad Bilal? Did he just call the cleaner an Ustad? The scholar turned to the audience, his voice full of respect. Do you people know who this man is? This is one of my teachers, one of the great minds who guided me in my journey of knowledge. I studied under him for years, and many of my students benefit from his works. If today you respect me, then you must respect him first, for he was my mentor. The crowd was stunned. Whispers turned into gasps. All eyes fell on Bilal, who lowered his head with humility, tears filling his eyes. Hamza's face turned pale, shame burning through him. The same man he mocked as a poor cleaner was in fact a scholar of great respect, a man of knowledge and sacrifice. But Bilal did not gloat or seek revenge. Instead, he raised his trembling hands and said softly, Do not praise me, my brother. I am nothing but a servant of Allah. Knowledge without humility is a curse, and position without sincerity is a trap. If Allah allowed me to serve his house by sweeping its floors, then this is his blessing upon me, not my humiliation. His words pierced the hearts of everyone present. Tears rolled down many faces, and even Hamza lowered his head in regret, unable to meet Bilal's eyes. That night, Hamza could not sleep. The image of Bilal's patience, his humility, and his hidden honor haunted him. He remembered the Prophet Muhammad's saying, Verily, Allah does not look at your appearance or your wealth, but he looks at your hearts and your deeds. The next morning, Hamza returned to the mosque, seeking Bilal. He found him once again with his broom in hand, gently cleaning a corner. With tears streaming down his face, Hamza fell to his knees and said, Forgive me, brother. I insulted you without knowing who you are. I was blinded by pride and arrogance. Bilal smiled softly, placed his hand on Hamza's shoulder, and replied, My brother, do not seek forgiveness from me. Seek it from Allah. I am nothing but a sinner like you. What matters is that we turn back to him with humility. The lesson was clear, never judge someone by their appearance or occupation, for you never know the rank they hold in the sight of Allah. And with that, chapter 1 ends here, leaving the entire community in awe and Hamza in deep reflection. From that day forward, Hamza's heart changed completely. The arrogance that once ruled him was replaced by humility. He began to spend more time in the mosque, not in the front rows to show off, but quietly helping with small tasks, learning from Bilal's example. The community, too, saw Bilal differently, no longer as just a cleaner, but as a true servant of Allah whose sincerity was worth more than any wealth or status. Yet, Bilal himself remained the same, humble, gentle, and devoted to his Lord. He often reminded people, honor is not in what you own, but in how close your heart is to Allah. The story spread across the city, touching many lives. And to you, dear viewer, remember, never judge a person by appearance. True respect lies in piety. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, and keep seeking stories that awaken faith.